the Eagles take care of business against the Dolphins with pretty impressive win, even though, I think that Jalen Hurts was banged up. They had a couple of guys hurt. The offense wasn't perfect, but overall, I think a pretty good statement from Philadelphia in this game. Your biggest takeaway from what you just watched in Eagles Dolphins?
AJ Brown's really good at football.
Oh my God.
It was another. First off, like Eagles defense actually had some moments, especially their defensive line, but their offense, it's funny how it still feels inconsistent, but it's so hard to stop because these guys are so good. I mean, the AJ Brown's TD came on a classic. Oh, I also like kind of the Eagles were trying to get back to some of the stuff we've talked about recently. Some RPOs, the tight end screens, like Dallas Goddard score. But AJ Brown's touchdown was on one of their favorite concepts last year. They did this over and over again, which is AJ Brown on an under route, 5 yards and in, and then Dallas Goddard on a short corner route, 10 to 15-yard corner route. And I know that concept as cram, but they run it all the time. But they've kind of gone away from it. And there it was. They're a nice kind of gimme throw, and AJ Brown does the rest. But wow, it's funny how this offense can sputter at times, but still just be incredibly explosive and just hit you with haymakers. And all of a sudden you're down 2 scores.
I thought it was pretty appropriate that both A.J. Brown and Tyreek Hill had 15 targets in this game and had massive games. They were absolutely the focal point of their respective offenses. Both of these guys were traded to quarterbacks on rookie deals with all that excess resources. Those teams had excess first-round picks to make these trades. And I think they kind of represent what these two teams are and have been over the last couple of years. With Tyreek Hill, it's all this speed and how your offense can express itself through all this speed. And with A.J. Brown, it's just pure power and physicality. And the pure power and physicality that the Eagles represent won out tonight. When you think about what they did up front, when you think about those moments that he had just wrestling that ball away to kind of call game in that single moment in the fourth quarter, that's what the Eagles can be. And the defensive line today probably expressed that the best. What Hassan Reddick did on those first couple of drives where it's like, yeah, all that bullshit that you do where you try to get the ball on the edge and you're pin pull and you're trying to kind of seal edge players the entire game, that's not happening tonight. We're not going to play that game tonight. And I think that combined with some of the interior pressure they consistently got against some of those backups on the Miami offensive line, that was enough of a mismatch combined with the talent they have on offense for them to kind of run away with this thing by the end.
It's almost the D-end speed of getting upfield. It was the best counter to all that kind of pinning stuff that the Dolphins like to do with their receivers. It's almost like the slower, more, bruiser D-end or edge player is better, which is kind of counterintuitive with their small receivers against a bigger defensive lineman. But I think that actually kind of works. It works in my head anyways. Hopefully it makes sense for everybody else. But this Eagles offense, though, it just keeps reminding me. I know we're talking about the defense real quick, but it's a matchup league, the NFL, and the outside corner for the Dolphins is something you can pepper. You can just get after it, but it's easier said than done. But what the Eagles do, even if it sometimes takes a long winding tour to get there, they just find that matchup that they want to pepper and they pepper it over and over until it pops. The double move to AJ Brown was just a players make plays. Like you said, it just called game. That was a double move against man coverage with the safety flying over the top of the guy that's running the double move, which is usually like, that's not going to work out too well as AJ Brown's falling down because he's getting fouled, still makes the catch. And that's just players making plays. But the fact that this defense kind of they just took advantage of, hey, the Dolphins offensive line's banged up. They took advantage of it. And not every team can do that. And that's what this Eagles team can do. That's why they just keep churning out win after win after win.
Also, we talk about the offense and Jalen Hurts having to make plays off schedule when we were previewing this game on Thursday, and how they're leaning on that a lot this year. They're not playing as on time as they were last year, but it's still a benefit when your quarterback can make those plays off schedule and outside of structure. Just because he has to extend a little bit, you don't necessarily throw that into just the negative bucket. And tonight was another example of that. He's extending, he's making plays late in the down, and consistently, those were some of the best moments and the best plays that the Eagles offense had today. So the fact that they can go to that when not everything is working on time and on schedule is just one more area where the players kind of win out when we're talking about the Eagles and specifically their offense.
This was one of our first kind of like sayings on the show. Go get a bucket.
Go get a bucket. Yeah, that's right.
They go get a bucket. And that's what, honestly, with points being so hard to come by right now, it's nice when you can just spam that in different ways too, underneath or going long, and different guys at different times too.
I gotta say, Kelly Green jerseys plus AJ Brown, one of the coolest players of all time. Just like one of the coolest looking players of all time.
Oh.
Him in that uniform with that visor. He's already unbelievably cool just in terms of player aesthetic overall. But that uniform tonight in a night game with some of the moments that he had, all time just guy on my TV sort of performance from him.
Did you see Devontae Smith's suit walking into the
Oh
game?
my God. I just want to sit down and talk to him about fashion choices for like an hour. I would love some tips because that is an incredibly well-dressed man.
He has the frame for it, and he knows it. He knows how to pull it off. So good for him. Anyone that hasn't seen
it. Are you saying I don't?
Nor do I. Glass houses for myself. Oh man, but it's no, it's the Devontae Smith, and also Jalen Hurts is also a classy individual himself, very fashion forward. So just Eagles, Philadelphia, spectrum of sports fashion apparently.
How are we feeling about both of these teams moving forward after tonight? You feel better about the Eagles than you did coming into this game?
A little, but kind of feel the same because it kind of felt that same kind of flow. But that's the thing, that this is what we keep coming back to. It's like it's incomplete on offense and a little bit on defense, but they still are very good. It's just that we maybe want a little more. They're kind of hitting a ceiling a little bit, but they find answers. They're going to figure it out.